there's so many things that you do. I may kind of jump around a little bit. You've had lunch with all of the who's who. Princess Diana. You've met pretty well everybody. You've also received the Order of Canada.
Yes, but I received the Order of Canada for my books, which I write a series of travel books for children about 3 dogs and a cat who used to belong to us and who live in Toronto, but they travel all around the world. And
that's Mickey, Taggy, Puppo, and Cica discovered.
That's right.
and there are some recent republications. One particular book by Kaleidoscope Publishing, and it's Kati Rekai's. You've done 3. This is now the 3rd revision of Discovering Toronto.
This is the 8th.
It is the 8th.
8th.
Well, that's true, because there was a centennial version.
Yes.
Wow, and this one here now has a neat idea, which I actually get to say, I thought of that, and it's where your books have an added value to it, which is, to me, is kind of the neat. It's what makes them international traveling books. If your books, if your character is going to Italy, from the front of the book to the middle would be English, but if you flip the book over, from the front to the middle,
yes,
on the opposite side would be Italian. That way giving Italian children a model for English, and English children a model for Italian. And in this specific book that you've published is English to the center, and if you flip it over, it is Chinese from the front.
And there are so many Chinese people around here.
Yes, and we do celebrate the Chinese community. We certainly, last year was the Year of the Dog.
Yes.
And probably significant that you published this book last year in the Year of the Dog, certainly to the Chinese community. And hopefully that brought you a lot of prosperity. What gave you the idea to do these characters?
And the reason I started the books, because I was annoyed that there are no books about Toronto, no travel books about Toronto, and especially when there are so many people with children who come to Toronto, or adults who want to tell their children what's all about when they come to Toronto. And there was absolutely no books about Toronto. And now I read the books which I publish, and you don't see any for children. Toronto books for children.
You still don't see them.
Yeah. And then the children came up to me and said, I come from this country and I come from that country, and could you write from there? So the next book was on Ottawa, because it's the capital of Canada, then Montreal, because this was the time when the Olympic Games were in Montreal, then Kingston and the Southern Islands, because my daughter and my son-in-law have an island there.
Yes, it's a significant island because it is the world's shortest international bridge. It goes from Canada to the United States.
That's right.
And it's the shortest bridge, because really all it is, folks, it's one of those little Chinese bridges. Kind of little, how long is it? Is it 10 feet long?
Yeah. How long ago they were?
No. How long is this bridge? It goes from your daughter's island over to the United States.
About 10 meters.
10 meters,
Yeah.
right? And did they have a customs crossing?
And originally they had 2 flags on it, one Canadian and American.
Right.
And then my daughter put the Hungarian flag in the middle.
Oh, so the Hungarians are the United.
Yeah.
They're the peacekeepers.
Yes.
And so you did quite a few on the Ontario region, and it's a great idea. I'm surprised really to find that somebody else hasn't caught on to this idea of what do kids do when they're in the back seat on their way to the Thousand Islands. Why not give them something that would be fun and historically relevant, and sort of give them clues as to what they're going to see, so that because kids love to watch a movie 20 times, to know they're going to the Thousand Islands before they get there, and to be able to look into it a little bit and know that they're. And you also have ideas where when they go to these places, there are links. Is that right? Where when people would go to the Thousand Islands,
yes,
there would be a reference to your books?
Yes. And then, of course, I continued it with Europe, because Toronto and Amsterdam are twin cities. So
Toronto and Amsterdam are twin cities.
Yes. And very few people know about that.
No,
But
where are the cafes?
If you read my book, then you will see. And then I went back to Hungary and Budapest, because I was born there, then Vienna because my husband was born there, and then France because we lived there before coming to Canada, and I have a very beautiful letter from Jacques Chirac, and I received the prix Saint-Exupéry.
Jacques Chirac actually showed your books to his kids.
Yes, and I have a handwritten letter from him. And